Welcome back to a brand new episode of Mastering Programming. In today's episode, I'm going to show you something beginner friendly and something new, and that is how to start coding or how to start using Velo in Wix. So as you can see at the moment, I have a very basic Wix page. I didn't add anything to it. And as you can tell, currently, if I wanted to add any custom features or add any code, I wouldn't be able to. The reason for that is because Wix allows you to do that only if you enable developer mode, which is the thing that we're going to do today. And then I'll show you some very basic things that you can do with it and also how to get started and move forward with it. So the first thing that I want to do is first, I just wanted to show you the difference between the menus. At the moment, if I go to add an element, you'll see, for example, that I don't have direct buttons that I can add. I don't have more input like text input. I've got it here, but it will be very limited with what I can do with it. And these are the options that I have at the moment. But what I'll do is I'm going to go ahead and hover over dev mode. I'll click on it and then I'll click on turn on dev mode. As soon as I do that, it takes like a second. But what you'll notice straight away is that we get this bar at the bottom here. And if I go ahead and just click anywhere empty here, you'll see that it expands. What that allows us to do is that it allows us to actually write code at the bottom here and enables us to write custom features and custom code that interacts with any of the Wix elements that you can add. Also, on the right side here, you've got things that you can do straight away, such as enabled, collapsed, hidden, and I'll show you what we can do with that straight away. But my favorite thing is that you get this extra main menu on the left side that allows you to see all the screens and all the pages that you have on your website, even the ones that you usually wouldn't see. So things like addresses, things like cart page, site cart, thank you page, all these things are all of a sudden showing to you. You can also do a few different things. So you can click on this icon over here and you get to see all the code for your website that you had created. If there is something that exists from an app and you have access to it, it will show up here as well. You can also search your code. So you can search for functions or lines and it will tell you which page that code exists in. You can also finally connect your website to GitHub and you can actually save your Wix website somewhere external outside of Wix, which is your GitHub repository. And I will create another tutorial specifically just for that. Here you can see all the packages and apps that you've created or added. There might be some here just because I did use this website for multiple tutorials and so I was always installing stuff on it. If I click on databases, you'll be able to see all the databases linked to this website or created on this website that you created or any of the other users. But more importantly, you can actually see the ones that come from the Wix apps. So for example, the blogs, you can see all the databases related to that, even though Wix is the one that actually created this. Same thing for stores, members, marketing, forms, and any other app that you install, it will automatically set it up for you, which is pretty cool. Finally, you've got some developer tools. I'm not going to go a lot into this, but you've got some tools like monitoring, Wix logs, cloud logs, secret manager, and triggered emails. And finally, we can actually go ahead and click on this plus icon here. And what you'll realize is that, and let me just maximize our screen, but what you'll realize straight away is that you have a whole bunch of different options. Specifically when it comes to adding databases, you can now create one. When it comes to input as well, there's a lot of nice options that you can add. So things like upload buttons, radio buttons, drop downs, all these things you get access to now. And things like payments, you can also have different things. And I'll show you a lot more into detail on what we can do with it. Now, the first thing that I want to show you is how you can use the bar at the bottom to create some custom features. Now, right now I've got this page. It's very simple. So it's just basically, if I zoom out, just a very simple page. It doesn't even have any buttons or anything like that. And what I'll do is I'll go back and I want to show you a very small interactions on what you can do. First, I'm going to hover over different elements and you can see when I hover over it, there is a name at the top that says hashtag section 1 list header title. This is what you're going to be referring to whenever you want to mention this in your code. So if you're ever going to be writing any code, how you refer to this or how you let Wix know that this is the element that I want to edit is using the ID at the top. The best thing about it is that once I click on it, you can see here, it says ID, hashtag, and then the actual ID. And the great thing is that I can edit that for anything I want. For example, I can change it to page title, just like this. And now that will be the ID and it will be easy. Now the first example of what I want to show you is that I can go ahead and click hidden. And if I go ahead and just preview this website, now that text when it loads is hidden just because I checked that box. So you can already see some of the benefits that you don't need to code, but it will still be a lot of benefits when it comes to this. Collapse does a similar thing. Now, I will show you, or I want to show you what will happen if I refer to this in our code. At the bottom here, you can see that it says on ready, and then there is a zigzaggy bracket over here and another zigzaggy bracket over there. Now at the beginning, it might be a little bit confusing as to what this actually refers to, and I just zoomed in, but on ready basically means as soon as the page loads up and is ready, perform or execute whatever is inside this bracket and in this bracket. This is not an advanced tutorial, so I'll just be showing very simple examples. And let's say, for example, we want this text to say something else. Instead of app service, let's make it say something else as soon as the page loads. What I'll do is I'll go ahead and put a $, and then a W, and then a bracket, a quotation mark, a hashtag, and inside of here, I will pass the ID that I provided. So I'm going to go ahead and say page title, and it auto-completes it for me. And now what I'm saying is that I want to do something with this page title. After that, I'm going to put a dot, and you can see that there's so many options on what I can actually do with this. So let's go ahead and have a look at something else. Let's maybe have a look at blur. And I am actually not too sure what this does, and we will put a bracket. Let's go ahead and preview this. And we can see that nothing actually happened. So let's go ahead and click back to editor. Let's try a different predefined function. So these are functions that you can use straight away. Let's see hidden, and we'll put a bracket. So this actually tells us if it is hidden or not. But let's try do something like this. Hide, preview. And now you can see that through code, we managed to hide it. So all I did was I referred to the ID of the element that I want to do. And then after that, dot hide. So what if I want to change the text? Well, what we can do is we can type in dot. And what I do, you don't need to know all of them. Just as you can tell, I already forgot to, and I accidentally selected something else because there's heaps. So what I usually do is I just type dot, and there's a whole list. And as I'm going down, it tells me on the right side here what it does. I want to change the text. I'm going to type TE for text, just like that. And let's experiment and see how we can actually change how it looks like. So I'll say page title and text. And inside of here, I want to say, hello, David. Let's go ahead and see if this will actually work. And you can see that we managed to change the through code to say hello, David, which is awesome. Now, I had to include the quotation marks because I wanted Wix to understand that I'm adding a string. I'm adding a series of characters. If I go ahead and add, let's say 1, 2, 3, and preview this, you'll see that nothing actually happens. The reason for that is text always expects characters or alphabetical letters to be introduced and not actually numbers. And even if I hover over it, it will say type number is not assignable to type string. Text always expects strings, which is characters. Number expects number. So if I want to include 1, 2, 3, then what I'll need to do is simply introduce it as a string. And now if I click on preview, we'll see that it comes up as 1, 2, 3. Now that is a great simple example, but I have one more thing to show you very quickly. And that is, what if I want to add something to this text? So I don't want to change it. I want it to say our services are available to you, for example. What I'll do in this scenario is instead of saying equal, which means it will be equivalent to whatever I'm writing here, I will say it is equal to, and then I'll copy this. So it's equal to the existing current text, whatever that is. plus, so our services are available to you, plus whatever new string I want to include. And I'm going to add a space here so that there is a space. Let's preview this and actually have a look if this will work or not. And we can see straight away that it works as expected. Our services are available to you. This is a very quick example on how you can connect elements on your screen to code or perform very simple features. What I'll do is I'm gonna go ahead and delete this line. And instead, I want to show you how we can create a button. So what I'll do is I'm gonna go ahead and click on add elements, just how I would usually do it with Wix. And I'm going to actually search up for button. So I'm going to type BUTTON, and we can see here that there's a whole bunch of different buttons that we can use. I'm just gonna go ahead and drag the first one that comes, and I'll just put it anywhere on the screen here. Now, we have two methods of connecting buttons to code. The first one is that we can do it manually by typing $W bracket and hashtag and then enter the button ID, which for this one it's button 2. So I can just do button 2. And if I click on dot, you'll see that we have all the options available for the button. Oh, which is actually my preferred method of doing this, is again selecting the button. So I'm gonna go ahead and select the button. And then here, you've got a whole bunch of different functions that are predefined that you can use. In our scenario, we want this button to work whenever we click on it. So I'm gonna go ahead and click on click. And you can see straight away, it created for us a function ready for us to use as soon as the button is clicked. Now you might ask, how come the button is outside of the unready? And the reason for that is that you don't want whatever code to run here to run as soon as the page runs. You want it to run only if that button is clicked. So we had it outside of this function, because remember, this function runs as soon as the page loads. Same thing here. I'm going to zoom in so you can have a look. It's exactly the same. We've got a function here, and everything inside of these zigzaggy brackets are going to run or start working as soon as the button is clicked. Just for now, let's try a very simple function. To do that in Velo, all you need to do is type in console dot and then log, and then inside of here, open a quotation mark and insert any text that you want. In this scenario, I will say button clicked. Now that we have that, what I'll do is I'm gonna go ahead and preview my work, and let's go ahead and find that button that we just added. And you'll notice that as soon as I click it, whatever was inside the code, which was simply to print out this text, is actually being printed every single time I click it. These are final examples, so before I end, let's do something a little bit fancy with it. Instead of just printing button clicked, what I want to do is I want to change another element here on the screen. So what I'll do is I'm gonna go ahead and use this title. So again, to do that, I'm going to say $W bracket quotation mark and then a hashtag, and then let's include the title, which was page title, sorry, the ID, and I'll say dot text is equal to button was clicked. And that way I'm including two things. I'm using when the action of this button being clicked to edit this element's text. Let's preview it. And just scroll all the way to the top. And now, as soon as I click it, you can see that it says button was clicked. I hope you enjoyed this video. This was just a very intro level introduction to Velo and how to use it, or how you can add custom elements or code to your Wix website. If you have any questions, please make sure you do leave a comment, and make sure you do like this video and give me some feedback in the comments below. Thank you, and I hope to see you in the next episode.